The shooting stunned the nation. 11 people were killed when a man opened fire inside their Pittsburgh synagogue. It was the single worst attack on American Jews in our country's history, and it made clear an alarming trend in America.
The FBI just reported this week a 17% increase in hate crimes nationwide last year and a 51% increase in Florida alone. NBC2 investigator Rachel Polanski discovered the numbers are also up here in our part of the state.
The text messages were coming in that are very anti-Semitic, talking about how the Jews should be burned more.
This Naples man says he started getting anti-Semitic text messages last year.
And it started getting more personal. My mother and myself should have been burned during the Holocaust. And my mother was in the concentration camps. Really shocks you. I mean, because I lost her to cancer, and it was from the experiments that they had done on her.
If that's not a hate crime, I don't know what is.
And this man, who lived on Fort Myers Beach with his black cousin,
So he comes out and he says like the N-word and stuff like that.
started receiving racist hate mail 6 months ago.
There's literally like a pile of cigarette butts and like a whole bunch of stuff all over my furniture with a sign that says, I hate blah, 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 the N-word.
That escalated into death threats.
The guy literally bulges out the door and says,
I'm gonna kill you.
Hey, N-word, I'm gonna kill you.
So what was it? It was a swastika.
And this Fort Myers woman says her car was vandalized in a high school parking lot. A swastika keyed into the passenger door. All three are victims of possible hate crimes. Crimes they reported to their local law enforcement.
I didn't think things like that really happened.
Not only are they happening, they're happening a lot. The FBI reports 72 hate crime incidents in Florida in 2015. Then 96 incidents in 2016, a 33% jump. And that number ballooned to 145 incidents in 2017, a 51% increase.
What do you think about that? It's disgusting.
The FBI isn't the only organization that tracks hate crime numbers. The Florida Attorney General's office does too. But the NBC2 investigators discovered that their numbers don't match. In 2016, the FBI reported 96 hate crime incidents, while the Attorney General's office reported 124. When I asked both agencies about that discrepancy, they told me they collect their data differently.
If you don't know the scope of the problem, you can't fix the problem.
David Barkey works for ADL, a Jewish nonprofit that tracks anti-Semitic and hate incidents in Florida. And he has his own theory about the discrepancy in numbers.
To report to the FBI, it's voluntary. To the state, it's mandatory.
And there's no uniform standard for hate crime reporting in our state, something that may lead to underreporting.
If reporting is voluntary, it's not mandatory, there are agencies that are not going to report.
Which begs the question, how do we solve a problem when we can't even agree on how big the problem is?
As a university, one of the things that we can do is offer a course, is educate at least our population.
At Florida Gulf Coast University, they're not waiting to find out.
We're trying to educate our students about what happens when you see people as other.
The university was already planning to offer a course about anti-Semitism next fall, but after the shooting in Pittsburgh, they moved it to this spring.
And anti-Semitism poses a terrible threat, not just to Jews, but to the American way of life.
Rabbi Bruce Diamond will be the teacher, and he says it won't be a history class. It will be a research class.
And we're here to investigate, to learn, to examine facts, and to draw some conclusions. The underlying question that the course will look at is, should we be worried?
Should we be worried?
Ask me at the end of the semester.
All of our local law enforcement agencies declined my request for interviews, but I was able to pull our local data. In Lee, Collier, and Charlotte counties, there were 4 hate crimes in 2015, 7 in 2016, and 12 in 2017. Now you can access all of the data that I compiled throughout this investigation on the NBC2 app. For the NBC2 Investigators Tonight, I'm Rachel Polanski.
I am back. But I'm still struggling a little bit. I had LASIK smile surgery done about a month ago, exactly like 4 weeks ago. So I'm still healing.
Jessica Starr, a TV meteorologist in Detroit, shared that Facebook video 1 month before she took her own life. The young mother of 2 was struggling with dry eye and blurry vision after laser eye surgery.
Whether those complications played a role in her suicide remains unclear, but NBC2 investigator Rachel Polanski found it's opened up a dialogue on the sometimes serious side effects to this minor surgery.
These are the moments
The cold winter was over. At long last, it was spring.
that Jessica Kessler cherishes.
The flowers in the pastures all began to grow.
Time spent with her 1-year-old daughter, Natalie.
Sleepy ones woke up to yawn and say hello.
But Jessica says she can't do everything she'd like to do with her little girl
I really thought the dry eye specialists were going to fix me.
because she's struggling with chronic dry eye.
It's like having glue in your eyes that is 95% of the way dry, and you have to literally peel your eye open to open your lid. Like it's like your lid is stuck to your eye. It's very painful. It's very uncomfortable.
It started in 2007, right after laser eye surgery. And 12 years later,
We're talking 30, 40, 50 visits to a dry eye specialist.
she's tried a lot of treatments.
The worst by far it's called meibomian gland probing. I've also had punctal plugs. I had IPL done, which is a laser treatment. Then I had something done called LipiFlow.
And she says nothing has worked. So she does this.
I gotta get as much heat into it as I can.
Warm compresses over her eyes about 10 times a day. And this, eye drops, about 20 times a day.
You never would think that this is something that would have happened to my life. Like my life is now controlled by all these stupid factors.
So these are my bifocals. These are my computer glasses.
Paula Kofer,
These are my reading glasses. All these prescription.
also suffers. She blames it on a laser eye surgery she had 19 years ago.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7.
That's why she started this website and this Facebook support group that now has 6,447 members.
I want to be able to help other people. I realize I'm never going to recover from what happened to me, but I know that a lot of people, I know I can help a lot of other people.
The FDA approved the first lasers to correct vision in the 1990s. The most widely performed procedure is LASIK. That involves a surgeon slicing a small flap off the top layer of the cornea, then reshaping the cornea with a laser. The FDA says there's a 95% patient satisfaction rate.
There's been millions of cases that have been done over the last almost 20 years, and the success rate is pretty phenomenal.
Ophthalmologist Ina Azaroff thinks laser eye surgery is safe.
LASIK is a safe procedure, but like any surgical procedure, it's going to have risks.
But not all doctors feel the same way.
Based on your experience, would you say that LASIK is a safe procedure?
No. I wouldn't recommend or have anyone in my family have it done.
Optometrist Edward Boschnick has devoted his practice to helping patients suffering from refractive eye surgery complications.
It's not unusual for patients who've had LASIK surgery to have issues years later.
So what would you say to people who are considering laser eye surgery?
Run. I would run away.
At the end of the day, Jessica Kessler says she doesn't care about the data or the studies.
Even if it is 5% or 3% or even 1%, that's still a lot of people.
She cares about these moments.
Who's that?
And even if she can't do everything she'd like to do with her little girl,
I look at her eyes when I give her bottles, and they're just so beautiful and healthy, and I'm like, I would do anything to have those healthy eyes again, and I wouldn't want anyone to do that to themselves.
she's determined to make every moment count.
As the itsy bitsy duckling played in the bright, warm sun. The end.
Again, millions of people have had laser eye surgery with success, but with any surgery, you need to know the risk of possible side effects.
You're probably paying too much for your prescriptions, and your pharmacist can't even tell you. The NBC2 investigators have uncovered a gag clause forbidding them from cluing you in.
NBC2 investigator Rachel Polanski found out there is one question you should ask every time that could save you hundreds of dollars.
This mother of 3 is always looking for a good deal.
We shop around for cars, we shop around for vacation deals.
But she never thought she'd have to shop around for prescription medication.
Something that, our health depends on.
Until today.
If there was a way to get your medication cheaper, would you want to know?
Oh, for sure.
It's frustrating, can't discuss it for obvious reasons.
That's Stephen Nelson, an independent pharmacist.
Unfortunately, our hands are tied. We would like to help the public, but we have to be very, very careful of what we say.
The NBC2 investigators learned that sometimes your copay is more expensive than the cost of the drug. Pharmacists call it a clawback, and here's how it works. Some of your copay is actually clawed back by middlemen known as pharmacy benefit managers, or PBMs, who negotiate the price you pay for your medication on behalf of your insurance company. Here's an example. This patient paid a $9 copay for prednisone, a common steroid. That price was set by a PBM. $3.12 went toward the drug cost, 48 cents went to the pharmacist, and the other $5.40 was pocketed by the PBM.
I don't really want to know that that's happening without my knowledge.
Frustrating news for this Fort Myers dad.
I don't think anyone likes to find out that there's something going on that's not open and transparent.
While many people believe that using insurance reduces prices, sometimes medication is cheaper when you don't use your insurance. But pharmacists can't tell you that because of a gag clause in their contracts with none other than the PBMs.
We would like to save the patient money. The information has to come from the patient first.
NBC2 has learned that several states have outlawed clawbacks and gag clauses, but Florida isn't one of them. Still, we learned there is one way to protect yourself and your wallet.
Now, if people ask the question, can I get this medication cheaper without insurance? That unlocks the gag clause.
Yes.
That's right. That one simple question.
Can I get this cheaper without my insurance?
Could save you hundreds of dollars.
This is very typical medication.
McGuire called her pharmacy.
Oh my gosh.
Then we went online to GoodRx.com.
Free at Publix.
Where we compared our medications and found cheaper prices.
Why is there such a disparity? Like, I don't understand.
I didn't understand either. But the more I looked, the more inconsistencies I found. For example, doxycycline, a drug that helps treat acne, cost me $78 when I used my insurance. More than double what I would have paid if I didn't use my insurance.
That's disheartening a little bit, for sure.
The Pharmaceutical Care Management Association that represents PBMs tells the NBC2 investigators that PBMs typically reduce prescription drug costs by 30% for more than 266 million Americans.
Go through the medications that you have and then make a few phone calls.
Still,
it's crazy to think that I didn't even know this.
The patients I talked with say they'll continue shopping around for their medication.
Yeah, I'll be going tomorrow. Literally.
Bottom line, it pays to ask. Don't assume that using your insurance will get you the best price. Ask the pharmacist, can I get this cheaper without insurance? And shop around. For the NBC2 investigators tonight, I'm Rachel Polanski.